One can feel inundated by the plethora of modern cricket formats, so it's hard to imagine that there was once only one. The triumvirate modes of internationals coexist today in a complex, symbiotic, parasitic relationship. Test cricket is the elder statesman stubbornly resolute in its bid to remain relevant, despite an accumulation of wounds suffered from socio-economic forces and external pressures. Meanwhile, the sprightly Zoomer T20 format continues its identity crisis on the international stage, requiring biannual world tournaments to remain relevant, but nevertheless greedily consumes the limelight of domestic franchise banality the world over. The middle child, however, one-day internationals, is frequently overlooked, especially in recent years, and has perhaps come under increasing scrutiny for its place at the cricketing table. The ODI carries an inherent duality, sovereign host to the quadrennial World Cup spectacle, yet reduced in the intervening years to a monotony of bilateral series that often feel devoid of context. Back when the first-class format was the one and only, there soon arrived a time when it increasingly came under pressure both on and off the field. Dull and defensive cricket had become the norm after the initial joy and relief of the post-war years in the United Kingdom, yielding to the emergence of the swinging 60s decade that had put the county game on notice. The new generation were seemingly less enthused, and attendances for county cricket matches declined in half from 1950 to 1960. The MCC, custodians of the laws back then, met to discuss the possibility of introducing one-day cricket to ensure the sport remained relevant. After some initial teething problems, the launch of the inaugural One Day Cup, sponsored by Gillette razor blades, in 1963 was deemed to be a success when 24,000 turned up to watch the final at Lord's. The commercial opportunities swiftly came knocking, and so within the space of a year, cricket had truly become professional, prefixed with the abolition of amateurs in 1962. However, it was not for the best part of a decade before the one-day format would graduate to the international level. And in traditional cricketing fashion, this was belatedly stumbled upon by chance. The setting is the 1970-71 Ashes, the third test of seven, at Melbourne, and the series is all square at 0. The Guardian lamented and subtly threatened through gritted teeth that one more draw on the pattern of the first two could place the whole of international cricket as we know it in question. After 3 soggy abandoned days and a refusal to play on the Sabbath, the authorities were desperate for ways to make up lost revenue, hence the 7th Test match. To provide some entertainment to the sodden masses, a match in the Gillette style was agreed, a reference to the sponsors of the One Day Cup back in Blighty. To the surprise of all involved, almost 50,000 passed through the turnstiles for the midweek experiment. Both sides were allotted 48 ball overs, each to flex their muscles and bash the ball to all parts. Inevitably, England limped to 190 all out. A display which was true to type for underwhelming one-day performances for decades to come. Australia duly reached the total with relative ease, securing a 6-wicket win. Aussie legend Don Bradman proudly prophesied to the crowd that they had witnessed history. Yet the players were less enthused, and had regarded the event as little more than surplus frivolity. England bowler Peter Lever argued that their batting left a lot to be desired, and employed a boycottism in describing how they could have easily played the part-time bowlers on display with a stick of rhubarb if they had felt more motivated by the event. Australian Ashley Mallett, meanwhile, who referred to the game as a bit of a joke, expressed surprise when it was only revealed years later that they had indeed partaken in the historic first one-day international. In any event, the press had been won over. The Guardian announced prophetically that one-day tests may well be here to stay. The Times wagered that the next Ashes tour would include a series within a series. The establishment, though, were unimpressed. Wisden didn't even bother to file a report on the match, and it would take years for the cricketing boards to welcome the ODI as a staple feature of bilateral tours. This was thanks in large part to Kerry Packer's coloured pyjama after-dark proto-franchise revolution, which shook the foundations of the sport. Yet the seeds had been sown. And thus, just 4 years on from its nativity, the first Men's World Cup would be inaugurated in 1975. Somewhat surprisingly, however, they would be beaten to the mark. The ODI, however, remains a fascinating compromise between the razzmatazz of its younger brother and the patience of the senior format. Long may this continue.